The bottom right now in the blue here in this grand finals of ESL Open Cup Korea. His name, the mainstay here, is Byun. And in the upper left in the red, first appearance in quite a while. Ragnarok or Shin or Hebyam. That's Zerg. Man, Ragnarok's a funny one. Or I guess we have to start calling him Shin now, as he is one of those players, one of those Zergs specifically, that in recent years have changed their name. His ladder account has been Hebyam for a while, and that shouldn't surprise anyone. That's just what he's been playing under. He plays on a bunch of different small tournaments like this under that account. But officially, he's changed his name to Shin, which of course, you know, his full name is Shin Hebyam. So he's effectively on Starcraft now. His name is, he's going by his last name, Shin Hebyam, because of course Asian naming standards, last name first. And I don't know, I understand that you might want to go by something closer to who you actually are. I mean, my username is Bayo Mulford is my last name. It was a slip of the tongue from something my high school English teacher said. But anyways, I don't know. I like Ragnarok a little bit more than I like Shin. You know, it rolls off the tongue a little bit better. Regardless, though, seems to be working. This is his first EPT Cup in quite a while that he's made the finals. And in fact, he doesn't play in these all that often either. So kind of a win-win, I guess. But of course, this is Byun on the other side, and Byun wins so many of these, or at least gets in the finals of so many of these. It's going to be interesting to see what exactly is in store for us, because right now we got some shenanigans. Byun barracks first, floating the Overlord onto the, or floating the barracks onto the map to make sure he kills the Overlord, and behind that there are two more barracks on the way. So Shin is really going to struggle to figure out exactly what's happening out of Byun. There's it dances, and then it dies. And unfortunately, Starcraft does not seem to have saved my set. Jeez, it does this. I turn on normal health bars instead of damaged health bars just for thumbnails, for the YouTube thumbnails, because it works out. It's nice. It looks a little bit better. And then I always swap it back. And then half the time, Starcraft doesn't accept me swapping it back. And then I boot up Starcraft to cast a new replay, and it's like, you don't get your hotkeys, or you don't get your overlay, which is just really obnoxious. But anyways. 2 barracks done, third one just about done right now. Adding in reactors, tech lab. We should see another tech lab here, because this should be stim and combat shields going down at the same time. And Ragnarok, he's trying to punish this. He's got roaches on the way, lings on the way, ravagers on the way, but Byun already a bunker in the natural here. This is not the easiest thing to break for Ragnarok, not at all. So we're gonna have to see just how successful he is. And the key thing here as well is that the tech lab, Byun's tech labs are in the main. Right now it's stim. He's going to get combat shields once he has the gas for it eventually. But his tech lab is in the main. And that means it's not going to be as punished, which means even if, say, the reactor goes down, Byun is not going to lose his tech all that badly. And that's actually going to be a really big deal for Ragnarok, because right now he's getting ready to move across the map. But he is supply blocked, 44 out of 44. And this is it's a significant supply block, because now one Marine just shows up a little bit. Files are going to go down, try to get the bunker here, looking to burst it down, but no dice, absolutely not. The Ravager is taking so much damage. Biles will now get it down, but the SCVs, they're just on hold position. The Lings, now they're going to start to spill in, but Byun, by far, he's done enough here. The Lings, well, there's no reinforcement line, so 3 SCVs have died, a Ravager has fallen. And there's a second round of defense here for Byun. He's going to be very happy with how this goes, even if he has to go into the main base briefly. Really, there's not a lot of damage. The only reason that Byun's giving up the natural in total is because he thinks that there was reinforcements. There weren't. Now they have reinforcements on the way. Now Ragnarok tries to make this go a little bit further. But if Byun had just stayed in the natural, taken the fight, he could have gotten the Ravagers, then held the line against the Lings, and it would have been fantastic. Even still now, Byun on the high ground here. Stim done in 15 seconds. Combat shield, 25, 20, something like that. It's going to be ready very, very quickly. And once you get stim combat shields here, I don't think Ragnarok's not going to be able to hold on to this that much longer. Remember, he's only on 21, 22 drones. He cut drones significantly to make this happen. So even as Byun's lost mining time, even as he's lost the wall and the natural, the bunker a little bit. Ragnarok has not done enough here. I mean, the biles are annoying, and Byun continues to dodge them, but he's just slowly getting to this position where he could stem on top of that army and kill it if he wanted to. But I guess for now, he's just going to play it safe. Move on to the other side of the map, and we'll go from there. Or at least not move out just yet, actually. Just kind of sit there. Byun can move across the map, and I think that's what he's maybe posturing for, but he doesn't have to. He's on 40 workers. His opponent has 28. He's got stim and combat shields. That all in, that timing that came out of Ragnarok, or out of Shin, is just not strong enough. Byun held it tremendously well. And if there's one thing that these extra racks openers, that in this case it was a 3 racks, even with a 2 racks opener, something like that, they've kind of proven that if you know what you're doing, and Byun certainly knows what he's doing, he's been playing builds like this for quite a while now. If you know what you're doing, roach builds, roach openers, roach timings don't really kill it all that well. Not easily. So Ragnarok now getting ready for the next round. He droned up a little bit, up to 28 drones, but there's just another round of tech here, another round of aggression coming on out from our Zerg player. More roaches, more ravagers on the map. This time he's really going to have to make something happen, but there are marauders on the field now. We got a 3rd bunker on the way. Byun has such a perfect read on this game. He knows exactly what's happening. I don't even think he scouted the lack of a 3rd base, but he knows Ragnarok committed pretty hard and lost a lot. So there's only one option here is now biles. They're going to start to try to get the bunker down, but it's 7 ravagers that one shot a bunker, not 5. And that means this bunker is going to start to repair up once again. Biles again get damage done, but it's going to take a while to punch through this. And Byun, longer this waits, the closer he is to Medivacs. He still has stim here. He's still in a pretty nice position. And now we're at enough ravagers to just burst a bunker down immediately. If Ragnarok decides to do that, there we go. Byun evacuates, loses the bunker as expected. One marauder tries to tap things, and Medivacs almost on the field. Concussive shells done here. A 2nd bunker should fall now because again, 7 biles do kill it. And look at what Ragnarok's doing, by the way. He's got these roaches, ravagers at the front, and they're a problem, absolutely. But he's holding the lings behind. He wants Byun to overstep himself. He wants Byun to overcommit, and that's when he's going to go start to make something happen here. But for now, SCV's pulled forward a little bit. Now Byun stims on top here. This is the timing, but here come the lings. Byun, though, he's aware of it. SCV's pulled out in front to buffer, and with the Medivacs at front, this feels so hard for Ragnarok. Unless the biles land, that's going to be a big deal right now. Biles landing so well, and Ragnarok actually is pumping through on this. He actually is breaking through, at least for the moment. That felt impossible for Ragnarok to break, but brief sets of biles right now killed so many of the Marines. Even still, this army of Byun is so strong, and it will bust everything down. Game 1 goes the way of our Korean Terran player, Byun, 1-0. The bottom right now in the red. He's down a game in this series. His all-ins just didn't work. Ragnarok. And the upper left in the blue, up 1. Just all the bunkers, all the defense he could possibly need. The rebellion. It's Byun. And before we get any deeper into this series and start to maybe look at some longer games, hopefully, some macro games, hopefully, I'd like to remind you all that at least 5 days a week, often 7 days a week, best of 3s, best of 5s, best of 7s with Maru and Byun and Cyril and Raynor and MaxPax versus Clem. A lot of that one happening. Well, I'm gonna upload them into YouTube, so they're awesome. I guarantee you that there's gonna be at least one good game, hopefully, probably, most likely. And if you want to go and you want to get that awesome Starcraft action every single day of the week, hit the sub button, ring that notification bell, as I think what the YouTubers say, and well, like this video as well, because it really does help out. YouTube, for whatever reason recently, has decided that these videos aren't going to get shown to anyone, so hitting that like button really does help. And of course, if you want to catch me live as often as I can be, you can of course sub to this channel because we stream on YouTube now as well, or follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Bamwolf. You saw that just a little bit below. Man, it's going to take a moment for me to get used to calling Ragnarok Shin. Because in my name, in my head, he's Ragnarok. And Ragnarok is I mean, I guess his name is Shin. He's going by that now, but anyway, it's just, it feels weird as we have a very quick third hatchery coming out of Ragnarok, out of Shin in this game number 2. This was a 19 third, a 19 supply third base here. So of course there's a queen out, right? That's fine. And actually with this, wait a minute. Okay. I didn't pay enough attention to the early game. I assumed that this was a 19 supply third. No, but there's already a queen out on the map here. So this was pool first into double hatch. That's actually really cool. It means you have a queen out early against this aggression. Even still, Ragnarok, he's going to lose 1 drone. Maybe he loses 2. No, KDH. Oh, he will. Byun dives on top, gets 2 drones, 2 cancels as well. That's a drone, and that's 2.5 drones right there. 124 minerals down. Each drone's 50. 2 cancels is 24. That's a massive deal there. Beautiful move out of Byun, and now the Lings on the other side. I mean, they're going to try to take advantage of the fact that, well, add-ons are going to be exposed, but Reapers, they have plenty to say about that. And this stim is not going to get delayed. It's not going to get canceled here. I'd like to see a repair, because it will start to burn down. Otherwise, Byun, repair. Byun. Okay, there we go. So he will repair the tech lab as he cancels and restarts stim because he wasn't sure if it was going to get up in the first place, I guess for a second, but stim is still on the way. So no big deal there. And Ragnarok behind this. He's got a Roach Warren on the way. Now, we've seen first of all, Roach Warrens for Ragnarok shouldn't surprise anyone. Ragnarok is very much this player that he's not dark, but he's like a dark light, is how I think of him. He's very much a Roach player. Really a big fan of Roaches in this matchup. But Byun moving across the map pretty quickly here with the Reapers, with the Marines. He's got all this power, this pressure, but he's hitting before stim. He's hitting before combat shield. So I don't really like this, especially as this is a Roach opener coming out of Ragnarok. Or out of Shin. He's already got Roaches on the way, humping a bunch more Overlords. So it actually seems like he might want to get a little aggressive here. Interesting. But I don't like him taking this fight. 5 queens there, Roaches on the map. Byun takes this fight, he loses this army, and then it becomes really awkward. I understand why Byun's doing what he's doing. It's just Byun. He loves to be aggressive. He loves to be the one keeping the momentum on his opponent's side of the map. But this move right here, before stim, before combat shields, and even more importantly, well, before anything else, I mean, yes, this is a 4-rax. I understand that it's a 4-rax. Even still, this is a bit dicey here. Ragnarok continues to build more and more Roaches, and I mean, yes, stim is done. Combat shields are done. But I feel like the Roach count, it's especially with the queens here, it feels like it's enough that Byun's not going to be able to punch through. So, well, more Roaches on the way. Now Byun thinking about moving forward. He's on creep, and Ragnarok, this wall of Roaches that he's got, just not something that Byun can pump through. So KD8 charges. They're going to force him back for now, and now off creep. Ragnarok is going to try to chase what he can. But Byun loses a Marine, backs up. I like this a lot more, this decision to back up and to play it safe and just play it safe. Take the game a little bit later. So now Byun's got 1-1 on the way. Concussive shells, because of course this is a Roach opener. We should start to see some tanks get made, and now 5 barracks as well. So Byun, I mean, I do appreciate the way he's decided to play this. I like that Ragnarok was able to figure out that, okay, this is aggression. I just got to build a lot of Roaches. I got to defend. I'm going to be fine. But Byun, one of the things I think he's become very good at over the last year or so is this idea that you can open aggressively, and then if you don't do anything with your army, you're not going to be that far behind. This game is very, I mean, Byun, of course, his economy is delayed a little bit, but this game is still very playable for the man. He can absolutely go and kind of sit there and macro up a little bit and take his third base and get 1-1, concussive shells, add a couple supply depots at the front just to soak some roach shots, mess with some aggro a little bit, and then move out on the map maybe. But Ragnarok is taking this opportunity to absolutely leapfrog. He's got an Infestor on the way, roach speed just about done, 1-1 on the way. And if he maxes out with like 2 Infestors on top of the roaches, on top of the Ravagers, ooh, that's just, oh, he's building, oh, that's a lot of Infestors. Okay. Generally, what do we got? 1 Infestor on the map, 2 more on the way. Generally, if you're playing Dark Style, is Infestor's going to drop a Fungal right now. Very nice Fungal, but Medivacs can pick up Runaway, couldn't chain it. Only the single Infestor out. If you're playing Dark Style, you're going to get 2 Infestors, you're going to go into Hive. I guess that actually, that's what Ragnarok's doing after all, I guess. I saw the extra Infestors. Now, he is making 1 more than Dark Style would call for. Generally, that's 2. He's going to have 3 in total. But this is just to keep you safe. It's to make sure that you can win fights. I mean, obviously, you get an Infestor, you drop Biles on the heads of the army. It works out really nicely for you if you can find that. We're going to have to see for now. Fungals here. They're going to land somewhat nicely, but not enough to maintain the fight. And, of course, Byun, well, he's going to just run away. Of course, the other value with getting 2 Infestors is that before the patch, 2 Fungals would kill Marines. 100 to 0 them now that change. Now that we have this change, of course, I guess it is 3 Fungals that kill Marines, not 2. So there is that as well. Ragnarok making sure that he can chain things together and just annihilate Marines. Now +1 melee on the way. Burrow, Baneling speed. Ragnarok, again, he understands. I think most people understand that roaches are not good past a certain point. So if yours you go and oh, that's a big Fungal right there coming in from Shin. And let's see, Biles actually won't land, and now Byun on the counterattack here. Once the Fungals are done, drops the scan, wants to see where they are. That's a lot of dead Ravagers. I thought that was going to be a really good fight for Shin. He got the big Fungal on the left side, but Biles did not pair them together. And now we're seeing just how not good. That's another massive Fungal. And this one should just kill some Marines by itself. They already were stimmed, even still. Byun stims forward here down the ramp. 1 Fungal, I think, remains, maybe 2. But anyway, when you go this Roach opener and you're going macro behind it, it's not a 1-1 timing. You got 2 options, really. You can go 2-2 ranged, and you can go into really quick lurkers. It's a Fungal looking for it. Byun snipes down 1. Doesn't get the second one there. Nice job, though, Byun. Anyways, is now from both sides. Here come Marines, Banes, Lings, tanks. Whole kit and caboodle. All in a fight now. The Ravagers on the right side. They're going to get targeted down here. Very nice from Byun. But he loses everything on the left. So he has to pick up, has to run away. But anyway, so Ragnarok, he has 2 options, really, on this Roach opener. He can get +2 range fairly quickly and go into lurkers behind this. Or you can get melee upgrades, go into like a Roach Ravagerling Bane composition, go into Ultras maybe in the late game, which is what we see Shin doing right here, and find the value that way. But I know Ultras have been buffed ever so slightly. They're now 25 minerals cheaper. They're now, for every 2 Ultras you get 1 free Paralings. For every house you buy, you can get a shoe. And the payload, you can get, well, not even a shoe, I guess. You can get a flip-flop. I just drop on the left side. Well, 7 drones will fall, and Byun now trying to multi-prong here a little bit, because this army of Shin is hard to fight straight up front to back. So play on the map here, get a couple Overlords or not. Not going to be enough here. Now Byun has to pick up Runaway. Pair of bombs are going to be nice, but the splits should be fine. And Byun, he will lose. Well, he's not going to lose the tank, but will lose some bio here. Is now on the left side. Byun target fires the Bane, gets that one down. And on the right side here, the army is starting to swarm a little bit. Byun needs to bring his army together. That's really, that is the long and short of it. Now Ultra is getting at it in. Byun, he's got a Ghost Academy as well, getting really ready to move into this. And in the meantime, he's got plenty of marauders. He's got tanks. He's adding in liberators. This army that he's built for himself. No bio army, no 2-2 army likes to deal with ultras, but if there's an army that would, Byun's kind of got the one that he wants here. Is now the fungals and the blinding clouds working together here. Look at this fight from Ragnarok. He's gonna try to crush right through. The banelings aren't able to get on top of the bio on the backside. Byun targeting them all down. He gets all the banes. And the tanks, well, they're gonna fall, and the Ravagers will fall as well. Byun has to back up here, but getting those banes down, that was nice. That was really nice there out of Byun. Ragnarok still wins the fight. He still able to push through, but Byun did a really nice job of making that far less cost-effective than it might have otherwise been. As now, the Liberator will fall as well. I think it's actually kind of nice that Ragnarok is starting to lose these roaches a little bit. We're not seeing him make any more, just a couple Ravagers to deal with the Liberators. Because, well, Marauders aren't great against Lings, but they are pretty solid against Ultras. Certainly before +3 is done, which it is right now. But they're also really good against Roaches and Ravagers to a lesser extent because they can slow them. So, ideally, you don't want Marauders to be good against everything in your army. In the late game, they're just going to shred the Roaches and again, to a lesser extent, the Ultras and the Ravagers. So by moving more towards this Ultraling Bane composition, it's where your upgrades are 2-1-2, but also it means that there's a little bit more complexity needed out of Byun's army. Is now Byun thinking about taking a 5th, but the Zerg army's right there in this position. This is a hard position here for Ragnarok to fight into. Blinding Clouds on the tank of the high ground are really nice, though, as Byun continues to kite away, losing more supply. And we're not seeing the snipes go down just yet. The ghosts are not firing with immediate effect, but now maybe just a little bit. But no, not even. Ultras on the backside finding more value here. Ragnarok crushes through this position. Ultras on top of the ghost now, trying to knock them down, but they're going to run away. Ghosts continue to fall here, and the Biles on the backside. Well, this Ultra's going to get stuck for a brief moment. Ragnarok has to back up, but nice move there from Ragnarok. Really slims down this tech out of Byun. Now he's got 2 tanks. I guess he does have 6 ghosts, though. That's pretty nice. 6 ghosts are a lot of ghosts. So Ragnarok, he's got an extra base on the way. Where are we at on this gold base? Ragnarok or Shin's had it for a while. For 80 minerals. So we're starting to get to the point where this gold base is going to start to mine out a little bit more. And remember, Golden Ore is a weird map. It has that one gold base on the bottom side, the northeastern side, the upper right base. That's just a blue base. So there, if the Terran takes the upper east side and Shin takes the Zerg takes the bottom left side, what that means is actually the Terran is going to have more money on the course of the map because the gold base has roughly half as many minerals as the gold base does. So I want to see Ragnarok, and we're starting to see him now expand just a little bit more, really start to punish that economy out of Byun. But now Ling's into this mineral line, and that's another way to punish. 10 SCVs will fall. The base is forced to get lifted. Now you back up, run away. Snipes won't go down because you can run away from it. And oh, that's the play. It's just a bit of a distraction because now this 5th base out of Byun gets knocked right down. Now Liberators there defensively really nice. They will force things away. They get the base. Supply depots will fall. Byun 23 dead SCVs, but he still has 60. His economy is still in a pretty solid spot. And it seems like Shin is coming to the decision that he does have to do something a little bit differently. This just Smash Mouth Zerg is not going to work anymore. Not as Byun's on 3-3, not as he's getting +2 mech attack as we're moving later into this game. So Spire going down, probably for a greater Spire. I think adding in a couple more Infestors, but Infestors become progressively harder to use as the ghost count increases. They just, at that point, you're starting to look at a Terran that can just EMP your Infestors whenever they show, scans forward and drops that down. What I would like to see, and this is something that we see Dark and Serral really use to the greatest effect, is I'd love to see Neural. If you're gonna go and play this late game and really focus on the Infestor plays, Ragnarok or Shin seems to be doing a little bit. Get Neural. Neural the ghost. EMP your opponent's ghosts. Do funky things like that. Neural the tanks. Add friendly fire. There are so many options, and it adds so much power to this army. But it's not the easiest thing to do. But now the snipes are going to go down. That's a good blinding cloud, actually. Hits the planetary, hits all the army here. And now tanks, they're not able to fire here as well. Liberators abducted just to make sure they can't fire. And Ragnarok's trying to break this position. Ghosts, they're not going to get the snipes down on the ultras once again. So it's minor damage coming out of Shin. 9 SCVs fall. He got the planetary as well, actually. So that's pretty nice. That's a lot less defensive of a position now. Ragnarok just attack moved and killed one of his own ultras. I think he was trying to kill these rocks, but he just killed one of his own ultras. Huh. That's not great. Anyways, Ragnarok once again tries to move in, trades a ghost for a couple ultras right now. Snipes going down on the Infestor. Byun is starting to really trade well in this game. 10,000 more resources in the good, and he, outside of losing that one base, his economy is, for the most part, untouched, but about to get a little harder. 11 Broodlords are on the way. Byun adding a Thor, an additional factory, so there is that. He's going to take the gold base down as well. Of course, it matters less than it did previously. Only 4 mineral patches, and again, 100 minerals here. That barely even counts as a mineral patch, so it's been about a third mined out at this point. Something like that. So again, taking this down matters just a little bit less. But now the Broodlords are on the field. That was the majority of Shin's gas at this point, so that is something. And by the way, up until right now, Shin did not have +3. In fact, it's not even done yet, so a little bit slacking on those upgrades. Is now we're going to see, well, these Overseers go down very quickly, all getting sniped down here. No personal cloaking turned on from Byun, not just yet. Rather have the energy for snipes, but oh, that's not going to be a good fungal. I thought it might have been. We see those Overseers go down so quickly. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised to not see just Byun cloak up and snipe things down. It's not like there was any sort of detection forward, but I don't know. Guess he didn't want to go forward. Is now more Thors on the way, 2 at a time here. Blue Flame as well. And remember, it's impact damage that matters for Broodlords now. The Broodlings don't do anything anymore as Ghosts get more and more and more of these ultras. Look at this resources lost now. It was 10k, now it's 13k. Byun is just trading so well in this game. And now, of course, well, Shin is trying to take the north side base, but at this point, this is when the game gets awkward for the Zerg. When the Terran kind of breaks the army for the first time and you start to realize how effectively they're trading. And especially as you move into Broodlords, yeah, they're faster. Yeah, it's all about the impact damage. He just cloaks up all the ghosts, two-shotting the lings. They're all going down. Now Byun got to pick up and run away, but that's still pretty nicely done there. Just gets a little bit more value, but again, this is where the game gets a little awkward. When you move into this ultra brood, well, I don't think he has many ultras left. Yeah, 1 ultra left. But when you move into this Broodlord Infestor composition, the Zerg army slows down quite a bit. And on a map as wide as this, the Terran can absolutely start to multi-prong quite a bit, really make it hard for the Zerg to take these outlying bases. And they're going to start to establish positions on their own. As their army continues to get better, as they can start to drop planetaries everywhere, their economy's fine. Now look at those snipes down on the Vipers. Very nice trade there coming out of Byun. Same, we're gonna see a snipe or a nuke, excuse me, going down on this outlying base, knocking down all this stack defense. Ideally, and nuke getting ready here, looking ready to go down. Spores at the front will fall. Nuke. Now the dot is going down. He's gonna nuke. It's gonna hit. It's actually not gonna hit all that much. 8 drones gets the static defense. Thought it might have caught some of the army, but that doesn't happen. So, gonna still get some value. And the entire army of Ragnarok of Shin on the north side looking for some more value. There's the Liberator, there's a Planetary, but there are so many Banes, Ultras as well that honestly, I don't like Ragnarok committing the Banes to that. That wasn't necessary. Yeah, the Ultras, he had Adrenalings. That base was dead. Banelings are just, now that's a gas expenditure that Ragnarok didn't have to spend. He's traded twice as much gas. 12,000 more minerals. And if we look at the income, it's not like he's been, I mean, it's a good income, but it's not like he's been that far ahead in this series the entire time. In this game, I guess, the entire time. And Ragnarok now, his bank is gone. 100 minerals, about 1,000 gas. Really, all that he's got is now the drop on the right side. Just a couple ghosts here finding, well, now they're just dead, actually. This is cool out of This is interesting out of Ragnarok. Adding in more Hydras now. He got the Hydra Den. He has both Hydra upgrades. Okay. +2 ranged attack on the way. So, like, it's not like these attack incredibly well. But is he trying to... Is this just mainline Hydras? Is he trying to transition into Lurkers and just getting Hydras in the meantime? I mean, there's no Lurker Den done. So, I'm assuming this is just him transitioning into a lower tech army that actually can fight fairly nicely against maybe a Terran that is overly committed to Thors and Ghosts and things like that. But for now, running away, and here comes the break coming out of Ragnarok. He's got to make this happen. His economy's not great. The Ghosts continue to run away. The Banelings, the Lings, I mean, they're just not dying. The Thors aren't fighting. The Ghosts aren't fighting. Fungals are going to land. But look at the supplies here. Unless something goes precipitously wrong, this is just not the best trade coming out of Ragnarok right now. He's trying to remax. He's got more of everything on the way, but not in significant numbers. And now the Liberators are going to siege up because there's very little anti-air. The Thor is sitting in behind. The Broodlord's doing what they can, but Ghost thinking about moving forward. Thor's move forward. Yeah, an orbital will fall, but this is just not a good trade for Ragnarok. He tried to break his opponent, and look at the supplies. Byun's not broken. He lost the position, sure, but he's still got more of a bank than Ragnarok or than Shin has. He's got more supply than Shin has. He's going to have Caduceus Reactor just to make sure he heals a little bit better. The Ling is now getting shredded. But now maybe on the concave, we're going to see snipes go down, though. Now these Broodlords dead. Thor's killed them so quickly. Ghost as well. Ragnarok is dying. Yeah, I like the Hydra idea. I think it's interesting. It's not going to be enough here. Not anymore. And Fungals are going to try to land at the very end. But this army is just... it's far too beefy. Coming out of Byun and Ragnarok, he's forced to tap out. Game 2 goes the way Game 1 does. And Byun, 2-0. The upper left now is move on to Site Delta. In the red, he's down 2 in this best of 5. It's Ragnarok. Shin, I'll learn that. And at the bottom right, in the blue, up 2. A short game, a long game. Both playing pretty well. It's Byun. So last game went quite a while, but the majority of it didn't have us all that. It didn't have you all that worried. There are a couple moments where Ragnarok took a base down, did whatever, but it didn't seem like he. Well, it never felt like he was in danger of killing Byun. And when that happens, when you play a late game Terran, and it never really looks like you're going to truly break him. And you look at the resources lost count, and it just continues to the gap continues to increase in a significant way. It feels like almost like there's just a timer on the Zerg, and eventually they will lose. So if Ragnarok decides to take the game a little bit later in this game number 3, we're gonna have to see if he can do that. But for now, though. Byun opening with a barracks in the wall. Now a second barracks on the high ground. Huh. Reactor as well here. This is an interesting one. So, like, this is a single barracks expand on the low ground, but moving into, yeah, so this is going to be like a 3 or a 4 racks. Once again, we saw him do that in game 2. He didn't kill. Certainly not, but he did go and he forced units out, and it was kind of a weird game because he just sat there on the edge of Crete and postured and realized he couldn't break Ragnarok, and then, or he couldn't break shit, and then backed up, went home, and, well, the game went later. Which I guess isn't all that weird. If your opponent has the defense, don't attack into him. Just force more of a defense out of him and go from there. Byun. Those barracks done. He's adding the bunker in the wall just to make sure you're safe, because when you go for something like this, you got a lot of add-ons early. You don't have any tech early. You really need that bunker to survive against things like, well, the roach pressure we're talking about. But look at what Byun's done here. He's trying. I guess he was actually looking for an overload, but he put Marines on the right side, and he had a bit of an opportunity to sweep in behind, kill off a couple lings, but doesn't quite happen. Doesn't find the overlord. Now Stim's on the way, so we should see combat shields on the way. Yeah, there we go. Combat shields get started as well. So Byun, kind of the same idea that we saw in game number 2, except this time it's only 3 racks. It's not 4. You do the thing where it's limit testing, right? So one game you go 4 racks, and okay, that works. So next game you go 3 racks, and if that works, take one off. See if you can find similar damage or similar pressure, and just be as greedy as possible behind it. But of course, Ragnarok in this game, we're not seeing crazy aggression coming out of the Zerg player. No, well, no roaches early, nothing like that. Just a couple lings defensively, and this might serve Byun well. Well, what are we looking at? We got 3 lings on the map, 6 queens, more lings getting added in, 16 of them getting ready for that kind of that timing when Byun might want to move out, because at this point Ragnarok knows that there have been no Hellions on the map, nothing like that. And by the way, Ragnarok, does he see these? He actually doesn't see any of the Marines until they're going to show up on the creep right now, and that's like 1 Marine, but even still, that should be the tell. And again, Ragnarok knows that with the lack of Hellions, minimum, this is a 2-1-1. Maximum, it's even more. So you gotta get the lings ready here. And now look at this concave out of the queens. Lings looking for the surround as well. Byun, he stims, but he's a little bit trapped. Still getting the lings down is beautiful. And Byun loses 8 Marines, gets 21 lings. An overlord earlier on. Well, actually, no, overlord in the main base as it scouted in. Not the best trade ever, realistically. Ragnarok does a very nice job of holding on to this, but at the very least, he doesn't lose a ton of his Marines, as he really thinks about diving on top of these queens. But there's like 7 queens there beyond that. That is not a good dive. Now actually, I think he might. No, he's gonna be fine. I was gonna say, I think he might get forced to stim away, and 20% of your HP there every time you stim. That's expensive. For now, the game is slowed down a little bit. Although, as I say that, Byun, this is +1. This is just +1 attack. There's no second eBay for now. No third base. Byun getting ready for the first round of it. Well, the next round of aggression. He's got a tank. Let's see if he can break down Shin here. He's on 5 racks, 2 bases. I mean, this is a patented Byun 2-base push. Lings look for this surround. They're not going to find it. And now Byun knocks the rocks down. So even more of just a direct reinforcing path. Now, I want to see him heal these Marines up. There are 2 medevacs. It's gonna. I don't know if they can heal this entire army necessarily, but there are a bunch of orange Marines, red Marines, overstimmed Marines. So Byun, he does have to be very careful here. how he's going to decide to play is now the medevac on the north side drops the tank down. Not really much in range or anything. That's a interesting setup out of Byun, but it is one that's not particularly vulnerable to lings on the surround. So he's going to go snipe a couple banelings and start to get ready for this push on the fourth. Doesn't really feel like this push is going to work super well, though. Shin's army is just so big that this feels like a really hard push out of Byun, but he's going to go find his way on the low ground position to the north side of that fourth base, get a tank sieged up in a nice spot, and this is a nice position to push from, but it's so hard to reinforce that this army that he's got here pushing, pretty much the only army that he's going to have pushing, and the tank is not going to be in range of the base either, but it seems like Shin's going to give it up anyways. Baneling speed's not done, 1-1's not done, so give the base up. You got a base on the linear side anyways, and actually now he's got all those upgrades, so he might be able to make this fight happen. After all, he's equal on army supply. Now this base is going to get found out here, but this one absolutely shouldn't get any damage done. Byun's going to lose the drop, picks up as much as he can. Now there is a bit of a drop on the main base here as well. Queen will fall down. We're going to see a spore burr up as Lings look for the trades, but again, Byun can pick up, run away, fight again another day. That's one of those questions. As a baneling connects to a tank, doesn't get much done. Is that enough? Is Byun finding what he needs out of this pressure? And dear viewer, I would posit that answer is no. He's got a third base on the way now. This was a 2-base all-in, 5 racks before a third, and target fire there on the Banes. Get so many of them. But there's one still fighting. Yeah, no, none still fighting there. Byun, beautiful fight there between the Marines and the tanks. They target the 6 banelings down, and Ragnarok can't break that position yet. So is the base dead now? I think it might be. That being said, Ragnarok is still on 4 bases here in Byun. It's 9 minutes in. Still no third. It's done now, but it's not on location. He's not mining out of it. This game, if it continues to go like this, and again, Ragnarok, he's traded 2,000 resources worse, but he is mined pretty solidly. He's only on 67 drones, so that's the one thing you look at. You might say, oh, Ragnarok, you might like your economy to be a little bit better, but again, Byun's been on 2 bases. He's been on 54 SCVs for quite a while now. And Ragnarok, he's gonna scout exactly when the third base goes down. Nice scout there out of Ragnarok, and actually slows it down from going down just by running under it in time. So Liberator on the left side, 6 drones will fall. Ragnarok will have to replace those, but the Queen's knocked that down for the most part. Creep is okay. That's kind of the one thing we're looking at and saying, maybe Ragnarok would like this a little bit better, but Byun has been putting a lot of pressure on. He's been dropping a lot of scans that has in part been harming his own economy. His +2 carapace is gonna get denied here. Nice move there out of Byun. And now this pending 2 upgrade window, this 2 upgrade timing where Byun is not gonna be happy. Now it's only 1 upgrade. And more importantly, it's the attack upgrade, not the defensive upgrade. So when you talk about a game like this, specifically playing Ling Bane, attack upgrades are nice, but they don't matter. Oh, look at this target fire for there from Byun as well. Gets so many banelings as they come in. It doesn't matter nearly as much as Carapace, because Carapace is what allows your army to get in contact. And now Byun is getting so much damage. You're 26 dead SCVs. And on the right side, this drop, thinking about getting the 4th. Well, I guess this is the 5th base now, but Byun, if he decides to trigger that, I think he could have gotten the base. Paying attention to other things, I guess. But yeah, he's going to force a cancel here. This game has been so heavily in Ragnarok's favor for a while now, but Ragnarok's economy, he just lost 30. He just lost about 30 drones. And Byun traded pretty nicely as well. The supplies are starting to equal out here a little bit. The economy is starting to equal out here a little bit. Bases are getting canceled. This one won't be and forced to pick up, but I mean, in general, this setup from Byun is really nice. Now, finally, the tank position on the north side will get dealt with, but not before trading pretty nicely for itself. And Byun thinking about dropping on the high ground. That's not going to work. Byun, he tried. Points for trying, I guess. But now, look at that. Ring around the rosy here. Byun's feeling himself, guys. That's just what this is. He's target firing down as many banelings as possible before lifting up, playing a ring around the rosy to kill some morphing banes, sniping bases, killing economy, and even in this game where it did feel like Byun was pretty far behind for quite a while. Now he's traded, we come to realize that he's traded literally twice as efficient as his opponent. His economy has not been that far behind with all the damage he's done, and he's got a 4th base on the way, 3-3 on the way. Ragnarok, he's adding in +1 range. Do we have a Hydra Den? Ragnarok, he's going to lose this base. He got +1 ranged attack, but he's adding an Ultra Cavern. And by the way, that's a kill, not a cancel. He's adding in an... This has got to be a mistake. +1 range when you don't have any range tech. It's not for the queens. And this base on the bottom left side is going to go down here. Byun is just... He's miles ahead now. He's getting so much damage done. He's so active on the map. 3-3 halfway done. I'm rapidly hitting this point where it's not going to be about... I mean, it's going to be about the Tekken part, but it's not going to be about this game going longer. We're now at the point where it feels like Ragnarok, he's going to have to just win one big fight. And if he can go and use his ultras and smack down Byun's army, something like that, then yeah, maybe he can win the game. But otherwise... Byun's economy continues to develop. He continues to stun the economy of his opponent. He continues to trade tremendously well. In fact, he's over twice. He's over doubly efficient at this point. It's 12k to 5k, 12k to 5.5k. The difference between how much Byun has lost and how much Ragnarok is, or how much Shin has lost, is more than the amount of resource that Byun has lost in the game, which is insane. It is a rare day that you see that happening, especially as we move on to 14 minutes or something like that. Ragnarok now adding in 3-3. Adrenal adding those ultras as well. Do we have chitinous? No, so no chitinous plating. Ragnarok really hurting on the gas count here. Widowmines are going to burrow up just a little bit. Byun gets all the banelings down, loses some Widowmines in exchange, but really doesn't lose a lot of his bio. And now up again once again. Baneling connection just not the best. Parasitic bombs are going to be a little bit annoying, and this might be the fight for Ragnarok right now. One of them, one fight, a fight that he's been looking for. It's ridiculous. So if you look at resources lost, you see, okay, 50 banelings dead. That's not the total number of banelings that have been made or traded away, by the way. That's just the number of banelings that Byun has killed, and Byun's killed 50 banes. That's actually... He has been so good at sniping banes in this game. It's pretty ridiculous. But 3-3 is halfway done right now. Chitinous plating a third of the way done. And Byun doesn't have a Ghost Academy. No, he does. Okay, so even that's not much of a timing here. As again, Byun gets a single bane, picks up, runs away. He is maxed out though. So if Shin can force a fight on his opponent on Byun's side of the map, with the ultras, with the lings, everything, reinforced with the lings, and if he can force this fight on Byun's side of the map, beat the army once, that is gonna be his win condition right now. That's gonna be what he's gonna have to do. Because I mean, otherwise, yeah, he's on 81 drones. Finally, his economy's looking okay. This is the number: 6,000 resources gap. It's a lot. It's not quite as much as over double because they've traded evenly in the last 45 seconds or so, but still not a great position for a Zerg player to be in. Not this early into the game. The 3-3 is now done. Burrows on the way. Ultra speed on the way here as well. But Ragnarok, Shin thinking about taking the fight right now before the ghosts are on the field in earnest. Widowmines are not going to find... In fact, it's more friendly fire than anything else. They really don't get the best trades. And on the north side, well, they're going to try to knock this planetary down. It's not even a planetary yet. And there are so many banes that Byun has to be so careful to surround. Byun's not paying attention to his army. Everything dies. And this is what we're talking about. If Ragnarok wanted to win this game, he had to just run in, kill the army on Byun's side of the map, and start to snowball it. And that seems to be what he's doing. 19 SCVs go down. Ultras are going to kill a planetary. Repair doesn't feel good enough. Byun on the left side loses a fight as well. And this game, that Byun has been leading from soup and now almost to nuts. Well, all of a sudden, Ragnarok is not just back in it. Ragnarok is pretty much taking the lead in this game. He's up 40 army supply. He's got this ultra attack. Ghosts are not really on the field just yet. And It's going to be hard now for Byun to stabilize, to find what he needs. He's a 3-base Terran. As his Ultra's going to try to burr up one away. It's not going to get much done. It's not. Widowmine gets the second Ultra. Overseer as well. Ragnarok would have liked to get those back. That would have been nice. Byun taps that anyways. This economy is just too bad. What a singular move out of Ragnarok. Brings the entire game back. And now we move to game 4. And now we move into game number 4 here on Alkyonian in the upper right in the red. Down a game, going for 15-15 this game. Shin. His opponent in the bottom left in the blue. We'll see what he does here for the Rebellion. It's Byun. And this 15-15 build is something that really has taken the Zerg world by storm in the last month and a half, 2 months. We saw Cyril do a ton of it at Masters Coliseum. We've seen Solar started doing it in the GSL, and he's in the GSL round of 4. He's had a really solid run. We've seen, who else? Rainer's done it some. I mean, really all the top Serbs have been starting to mess around with it. Because what it lets you do is you get your hatchery a little bit faster, but also you get your spawning pool a little bit faster as well. And that is really nice because if your opponent's going 2-Rax pressure, you can have enough out in time. You can have Lings and Queens out in time, and you're going to be safe. Now, you do sacrifice economy a little bit, and in a game where Byun went CC first on the low ground, Ragnarok seems to have lost the build order carousel just a little bit. You would have loved to be a little greedier, maybe even do the 3 hatch build thing that we saw in game, what was that? I think game 2. But for now, Byun behind this, 2-Rax on the way. So this is a CC first 2-1-1, I think. There's a world where he adds a couple more barracks, I guess, but this, my head says CC first 2-1-1. Or I guess my gut says CC first 2-1-1 type of build. And, well, Ragnarok, he's going to move across the map here. He's going to get his Overlord on top of the base and realize it's not building, it's done. Now, Keone does not have it's a big map, but it does not have the longest rush distance. So, Shin's going to be a little sad. Going to be a little upset about how things are going on because, again, he went for the greedy build and his opponent, or he went for the safe build and his opponent went greedy. So all that together does now mean that things are not as happy as you might otherwise like. But Byun, I said this was going to be a 2-1-1. No, it's a 4-Rax. So Byun, a greedy 4-Rax. Let's see if Ragnarok is ready for this, because I don't think he will be, honestly. Everything Ragnarok has seen, he's gonna... Oh, okay. So on Alkyone, everything's just going weird. Byun, command center first, into the 4-Rax. Shin, a very quick lair. So if this is 2-base muted, he's dead, by the way. That just full stop, he's dead. But we're only looking at 1 gas for the moment as he's taking the 3rd base. So that Roach Warren going down, this might just be for like a quick Roach speed. We're going to have to pay attention to how many gases get taken. I think more realistically, this would be for a Nidus play, but we're only on 1 gas at the moment. So that's not a ton. This could also be, well, actually the Queen count's not getting, it's only 4. So that's not going to be the play. And now 2 more gases on the way. So this is going to be 3 gas. Layer's going to be done. He's going to have enough gas for a Nidus network as that 3rd base, well, as the layer finishes, as the 3rd base finishes too, if that's what he wants to go for. So the layer is done. Overlord's on the way. How is it just going to be for Roach speed? Just a very quick Roach speed. That appears to be the case. 5 Roaches on the way. Roach speed on the way. No Nidus. Nothing like that. So Shin just... he wants that Roach speed defensively, more likely aggressively, as he builds more Overlords, opens up that supply cap. The 3rd base is just going to be a macro hatch for now. just to provide him with the production that he needs to make sure that he can play aggressively defensively, that he can continue to build these roaches. As for now, Byun looks for some Overlord snipes. He's going to get one. There's still more on the map, but I don't know that he's going to find them necessarily. Stim is done. Combat shield's on the way. And as awkward as this is, Ragnarok's timing is going to hit later, which means it's better. He's got a bunch of roaches on the map, and once roach speed is done, he's going to be able to chase this army down. So Byun, Stim's on top, thinks about it. He thinks he has the math here to get the roaches down. He's going to get a bunch of them, and yeah, he's going to get them all here. And the queens, they got to run away. They have to be so careful. The queens are really your defensive tool, so Byun continues to move forward. I think he's happy with his trade regardless. He gets all the roaches, runs away now. Roach speed not done yet. And for the cost of 12 Marines, Byun gets 12 roaches. Roaches are 75 minerals, 25 gas. Marines are 50 minerals. You do the math. It is much more cost effective for Byun to make that happen. And by the way, third base on the way, +1 on the way, starport on the way. Byun's pretty happy with how this game is going on. And, well, he had this El Naga. He runs away. We're going to have to see how well he can defend this. So that's the next scary thing, but he's adding Marauders, and, well, Byun owns the high ground. So that's not going to be all that much either. Now with 1-1 on the way, third base done. Orbital on the way, not on location yet. That's fine. Again, this is a pretty aggressive Hebium right now. Pretty aggressive Shin. We ask what exactly Shin has planned for this, or what he expects to get done with this. So he went for quick roach speed. That did mean that Byun theoretically can't continue to pressure right now, but Byun's kind of okay with this. He got a lot of roaches. He defended the high ground, so he didn't take much damage. And he's got his third base on the way, on location at 640. It's not that late. Really, everything is coming up bases for Byun right now. Yes, Ragnarok Shin has a fourth base on the way, and it is a gold. We are 7 minutes in. He's taking the fourth base is slower than the Terran's third by a significant margin. Whereas ideally, you want to just always be +1 base on the Terran. Regardless, Byun thinks about putting some pressure on right now, but it's hard to move into that spot. It's a ready-made surround. It's a really easy high ground surround for the Zerg if they want to take that fight. But now Byun stumps on top. Biles are not going to land here. Getting on top of the roaches, the Ravagers as well. Byun, look at this fight from the man. Yeah, it's going to trade out at the end, and he will be forced back here a little bit. Get some drones for his troubles and a queen on the backside. But I mean, he's getting Ravagers. He's getting roaches. 2 Ravagers now, 27 dead roaches, a queen as well. Byun's just really making these trades happen. It's looking pretty solid, taking advantage of his timings. That was when +1 was done. No upgrades for the Zerg player, and now Shin adding in infestors. He's got 2 on the way right now, and look, if the fungals land and the biles pair up with them, anything can happen. But it really does, it's starting to feel that in this game that it's going to have to be that. Anything short of the most incredible fungals, Biles killing a third of Byun's army, half of Byun's army, it's starting to feel that Ragnarok is really going to struggle to win this game. And Byun adding in 2 additional factories, so it's going to be 3 factories on the map. I guess it's going to be 3 factory siege tank, really taking this pressure out of Ragnarok, or this build out of Ragnarok seriously. Doesn't even want to worry about it. Is that, hey, this drop not all there's no return ticket for everyone now as the Biles they get a medevac, but I guess it was 1 medevac's worth at the end of the day. So there, yes, in fact, there is a meal ticket. There is a return ticket for these Marines, these Marauders. They will be able to find their way home or deeper into the main base if that's where they want to go. +2 attack on the way here for Byun again. Doing that classic Byun thing, for getting his armor upgrades for just a little bit. The Ragnarok is starting to transition now. +2 carapace, of course, but +1 melee, adrenal, baneling nest, spire, all this tech. That's a lot of gas now that's been committed into things that are not going to help Ragnarok stay alive. The Fungals, though, they are gas that's been committed to keep Ragnarok in a happy and healthy position. So Byun, he's going to have to back out for the moment here, trying to take some fights, maybe cancel some Banelings. That's going to be nice. And yeah, Ragnarok wants to knock these rocks down, but Byun on the other side of it, just making it a little bit too expensive. So +2 attack, nearly done for Byun. Armor only just now getting started as Byun takes the 4th base, but he's also got armor upgrades for the Banelings, Drilling Claws. And so, okay, did he commit? Oh, so he did cancel. Okay, he did cancel that 3rd factory, so only 2. Still a decent amount, but moving pretty heavily into this Widowmine tech as well, which is an interesting decision. Generally, you want tanks against roaches, but I guess if you see the transition happening into Ling Bane, Widowmines are going to be really, really solid. So base on the north side gets canceled. Byun trying to knock this base on the bottom side as well. This gold is dead. Ragnarok, now he's only a 4-hatch Zerg. The drop in this 3rd base and this 4th base also causing problems. Queens are going to go down here as well. And the Biles, are they going to get the drop? Just barely not. Barely not. And on the right side, Byun wins the fight here as well. He's just winning everywhere. He's getting so much damage done. The Lings, they don't have Adrenal. They're +1 Lings against 2/2 Bio. That's not great. And the Biles just continue to not land here. Byun kites away again and again. And this drop, well, Parasitic Bombs turn this into a one-way trip, and the Roaches ensure there really is not a lot to happen. But even still, Byun's going to try to trade this out and gets a couple Roaches. Now Greater Spire on the way. It's been scouted, by the way, from Byun. Byun knows exactly what's happening. And that medevac will fall. But that was very much expected. The Biles don't get that medevac. But Byun at this point, his 2/2's done. Actually, sorry, yeah. So he was fighting with 2-1 for the last couple fights, but now army just a little bit tankier. He's got armor upgrades for his Widowmines as well. Let's see what this maxed out Terran army can do. Drilling Claws done. Plenty of Widowmines on the field. Fungals are going to try to land here, but they don't really get all that much done. Infestor falls on the right side. Byun cancels a base. So Ragnarok really taking damage on both sides right here. And here comes the blue line. Here comes the rally of Byun. Widowmines, how good? They don't even have to be good anymore. Byun moves forward now. Roaches continue to fall. Infestor dies before it drops a fungal. There are no Banelings at the front line of this army anymore. And on the right side, Byun getting more economic damage done. On the left side, Ragnarok has to take this fight with all the damage he's taken, but the tanks, they're getting shots off. Widowmines doing what they can. Byun on the right side, 5 drones dead. Banelings continue to fall. Byun stims on top. Vipers die. And at this point, Ragnarok trapped into a corner. The Ravagers can't kite anymore. Everything's falling down. There really isn't a lot that Byun can, or that Ragnarok can do. And at this point, it does feel like our Zerg player is dead in the ground. We go another week with no champions, with no Zerg champions in an EPT Cup, but Byun looks so good, and he takes the 3-1.